interesting deal right there. We're looking good, man. Wait a minute. So we were real quick. I'll give the quick welcome to the Wes Smith Variety Show, episode 57 with L.E.F, low end frequency. And you guys take a quick second, just introduce yourself, and then we'll carry on with our head shop story we were talking about.
Yeah, I'm Robbie Rob, part of L.E.F. This is my boy here, Mr. Phonetic Freeman. And that's who we are, man. L.E.F. That's just the two of us. Got a couple of MCs that come over, and actually we're going to be doing some Flow-Alition. This is my boy right here, and you'll be seeing a lot of him come out on some new tracks here really soon, actually.
Did you say Flow-Alition?
Flow-Alition.
Like coalition, but Flow-Alition?
Yep.
I love it, dude. I love it. Well, hey, man, we've got two choices. We could either, real quick, we usually throw out some events. If anybody who was hanging out watching, you saw some of those things scrolling. That was a couple mug shots of the L.E.F. homies that are on today. I don't know what those were from. Maybe we'll hit on them later. And then there were 3 or 4 release covers of music that they've done with Juice Recordings. Official, unofficial sponsor, Juice Recordings. And the only event, we usually talk about some events right up front. The event I've got coming up, Kelly and I both, we've been talking about it nonstop for Electric Love Music Festival outside of Vancouver. It's going to be awesome. Go check them out, Electric Love Music Festival. I think that's the .com. Get online, whatever. But it's July 27, 28, 29, 30, something like that. So that's how you'll know if you hit the right site. But check them out. Go on their social medias. They're awesome people doing cool things up there. This will be my 4th year back. Super stoked, man. You know, you get to go back anywhere 4 times. That's like, you know, like the first time, y'all know what I'm talking about, especially Rob. I mean, Phonetic, we don't know each other that well, but I know you through Rob. But Rob and I, man, we know, like, you get invited somewhere one time, that's cool. You get invited twice, it's like, oh, we liked you last year, we're going to try it again. You get to come back a 3rd time, it's like, damn, homie's doing it. And then like a 4th time, it's like, you might as well be a resident.
And too, so you got in on the ground floor.
Yeah, I did. I've been every year, so I'm really thankful for that. That's the only event. You know, I've worked for a lot of great promoters, but that's the only event that I've been, you know, to everyone since the beginning. There's a few that I've hit a couple times off and on with a year in between, but that's awesome. But you guys, I know Kelly, or you guys, you got any other events you want to shout out there real quick, you know, that are coming up for you? Music stuff? If you don't, no problem.
Well, I tell you what, guys, we've been working on an album. To be honest with you, we're about five songs deep into this thing, and so you know we've been kind of releasing singles from time to time, and
right.
So I think time around, I think we're gonna release about 5 or 6 of these things on that album, and this is what we've been working. We've been working endless hours, as you guys know.
Yeah.
And we're starting to actually get to the end of this thing, so we're going to start popping this off, and maybe even a couple. We actually have a niece working on an animated video for one of our songs.
Oh.
So
do you when's you got a release date for it or a name title for it or anything yet?
Well, I got a name for the song that should have the animation on it.
Mm-hmm. The name of the title of the song. Listen, no, we did play down at Ophelia's and kind of put out like a few tests, you know, kind of tunes that we've been working on with him.
Okay.
It was well received and sounded good and all that, so that was good stuff.
Okay.
Try to get the live thing going.
Yeah.
Dude, that's just straight tough. Let's talk about it for a second. Like, I mean, we'll go all over the place in here, but you guys are musical homies, so, and you're very active, you know, so let's, and if no one caught it, they're from Denver, Colorado, or based out of there anyway at this time. So, I've got a few things to say about Denver, Colorado. Not one of which is the sickest I've ever been in my entire life, dude. And we won't start with that. Let's go on the music side, man. With your just talk about trying to do the live thing, man. That's tough. I've tried twice and extremely difficult as a single, you know, kind of deal. How do you do it as a duo? What's the plan? Like, what goes into it? Tell people what goes into it, man.
We're figuring out as it goes pretty much, you know, but currently we're looking at, you know, having a scratch guy and the person mixing the tunes as a kind of, basic thing for like the hip hop setup, for instance. When it gets to electronic stuff, we're looking at incorporating some controllers and other sort of things, some live performance type things, but we haven't gotten to that point quite yet. So.
Yeah, Wes, right now, like he's saying, it's we got the tracks and we're mixing them, and we have about 3 MCs. We're using a couple female singers, so we're having everybody out on stage, and so it's certainly not just the 2 of us standing back there, where we have a couple front men up on stage, ladies singing as well.
Right.
So I mean, it's like an
ensemble.
In the ensemble.
That's a lot. So how do you're gonna I guess you'll start that, Rob, I know you've been DJing for a minute in the Denver area. Is that, have both of y'all been DJing for a long time, or like where would you start your show? Like if you're live act, you guys have some established music out there doing your thing, you're in Denver, in the Denver scene, like where would you guys do like a first show? Like how's that work in in the live act business these days?
Man, pretty tough. There's places.
Yeah.
Electric Love Music Festival 2019.
Right there.
Juice Night Out Showcase. That's where it'll be.
Well, I mean, we have played as L.E.F. Once officially. I've played as L.E.F. a couple times other than that. But like at the Black Box, that was our last gig besides Ophelia. Black Box is a pretty well-established underground music venue here in Denver. So,
okay.
Yeah, and then we, like you were saying, we did Ophelia's last week, and that's actually set up for bands and full live bands where Nappy Roots played, I think, before we were there. They're used to having full live setup, so it was actually pretty easy playing there as far as setting everything up. And
yeah, because you got live stage people that know how to kind of work with mics and or instruments, right?
Yeah, he's got like a full live, mixer. You got like a sound guy in front of you doing the whole thing. So yeah, it was pretty neat.
Yeah, and I guess monitoring during the show too. Hey, that place, Ophelia's, that rings a bell. Like, was that that place is like old school, used to be like a brothel or something, right? Is that the history of that place?
Sure. It was a live peep show place.
Oh, peep show place. All right. Well, isn't there like a weed shop right next door to it?
Yeah.
What corner, West?
I got the right place. Yeah, it's like right on the corner. The whole corner is like a weed shop, dude. I stayed in the. I was there for like a day once, cruising through, and I think it was like 2 years ago. I hit you up, Rob, and you were busy doing something. I was like cruising through on a layover from a plane, and yeah, dude, I stayed at the hostel right above there.
Okay.
There's a hostel. There's like a youth hostel right above there. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you walk in the youth hostel and they've got like, maybe the whole building's owned by the same people or something. I don't really know the relationship, but they have a lot of like, materials and sort of even like decorative things that are kind of in a similar vein as Ophelia's. And so there's like all this like bougie, like go-go dancer stuff around there. And you're kind of like, dude, where did I come? Because this place is pretty nice and clean, but am I like in a brothel or what's going on here, man? And then,
I never saw it was as a peep show thing, but I guess if it was one, then they've certainly cleaned it up. And there's actually it's actually a restaurant now. So.
Yeah, but that area, bro, that you got it. You got to admit, if you take a stroll around that area, dude, there's some sketchy business going on around there.
Oh, well, I got to tell you, man, the last couple of years, brother, they have cleaned up this city. Obviously with the explosion of people moving into this town. And they have moved neighborhoods further back, and rent out here and prices to live out here become absolutely crazy.
Hey, we've got some friends that we locally and we as in the show, Matt and Devin, who were on here before, music fans and stuff. Sometimes we just got music fans that like to go to festivals. They know all the festival knowledge. They came on, I don't know, that was a couple months back or something, but they're moving out there. So, and then nice. I got other friends moving out there too. You capturing everybody, man. Everybody's like going. What's the draw? I know you got a decent music scene.
Pretty good music scene. Lots of beautiful mountains, and you can still get out on boats and do all the stuff here. So, and then obviously there's that one underlying factor that we moved to Colorado for about 3 years or 4 years ago now. So
Oh yeah. Well, for a while you were. I guess you weren't the first state, I guess, to legalize marijuana, but close. I think
Pretty
you're
close. Yeah,
maybe some
we were
weird like Connecticut or some shit was first. I don't know. Some weird Northeast state I think was first.
We were the first for the recreational thing, and I
Ah, yeah,
remember
that's
like
right. All right.
yeah, like when it was January 1st or whatever, like that whole switch over when the date happened. I mean, you couldn't even drive in this town. There's so many. It was absolutely insane. I had AK-1200 booked for this show, and we had to put him like outside of the city basically just to have a hotel room at all. So it was insane.
That's crazy, dude. So what was that like then? If you're the first state to pass recreational, you guys were living there. I mean, that's like the only thing I can think of I've ever been part of like that is like it was like I was in Sri Lanka, man. I was in Sri Lanka the summer after they got their independence in 2010. You talk about a party, brother. Those people, like, it was like 29 years of being basically held down under military regime with a opposing political party, and I'm there like a month after they get broken out to freedom. I never seen people go crazy like that in my life. So what was the weed thing like? I mean, other than just busy, like how long did that go on where it was like sort of disproportionate to what it was before it went legal?
Well, that's what we were saying. It's still going on. The people moving out here, I don't think the infrastructure of the city was prepared for the amount of people that moved out here when all that's happening. They have been putting up apartment complexes and buildings. It's going on everywhere in the city. It's going on left and right.
Got about 20, 30 skyscraper cranes working hard all the time. Like, it's crazy.
What's it cost to rent a, I don't know, 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment out there? Like in a reasonably cool spot, reasonably located spot.
For a 2-bedroom is about $1,900 a month.
Yeah.
Wow, dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like people say where I live is expensive, and I'm not saying it's not expensive, but it's about the same.
Yeah, they're saying it's just like San Francisco or anywhere else. It's getting up there just like everywhere else is.
Wow, man. You got, yeah, dude, that's crazy.
Friends come over at 7 o'clock at night. You're like, well, you're going to be parked about 4 blocks from the house, so get ready for a walk.
That's funny, dude. So Kelly, I've got I honestly didn't even remember this literally until 10 minutes ago when I said it. But Rob, dude, you remember that time I was at your house and how sick I got from altitude sickness?
I do, and that's
Dude.
happened to quite a few of my friends from Florida. Back over the years, whether I think I've been out here now over 20 years, Wes, and
Yeah.
I've had a few friends from Florida that's come out, and you try to tell everybody drink a lot of water, and no one ever drinks a lot of water, and usually it's quite the opposite. Everybody drinks a lot of beer, and then
Yeah, man, you guys took me up into the mountains. It was all this super fun day. Rob and I go have like this killer steak at this place that his friends are working or something, and then his DJing. We did that, and I go, and then like he and his girl go out somewhere and leave me at the house for a bit while they like go to do something. I was like, I don't feel so good, so I like stay there, and then I must have been like, I swear, dude, like you don't ever want altitude sickness, man. It was like I got so tired of going to the bathroom, I just went and sat in the shower, man. I just went and stood in there and I just hung out with no clothes on. Rob comes home, he's like, dude, what are you doing, bro? Dude, I've been in here for a while, man. I just got tired of going back and forth, so I just took my clothes off and sat here, man. He's just like, oh, homie, you got altitude sickness.
it goes. You always know when everybody gets the cold sweats and the dizziness, and or they get the bad headache, and man, once your friends get that, it's hard to get that to turn around. It takes a few minutes.
You just got to let it work out, I think. Yeah.
And like a lot of times, if we're up on the hill, I've taken some friends. When you take them from sea level, doesn't matter where they're from. I guess anywhere sea level, and you take them up there. And I've taken some friends straight up the hill, and when you're up in Breckenridge, Keystone, you're at 10,000 feet, and so people get the dizziness up there real quick, and the only way to get rid of it is to come back down the hill, unfortunately.
Oh, dude.
We've rented condos where we've had to be like, well, we're gonna have to go home a night early, and it's hard to leave those ski in, ski out.
Oh, dude, that's like, yeah. I never had the bends before, but I gotta imagine that's the only thing that's even close to it, dude. It's gotta blow, so blow.
All right,
Hey,
good to know. Good to know.
Kelly, I was looking at a couple comments here. Oh, what's up, Jody? I'll give a couple shout outs.
There
What's up?
you go.
Jody's watching things.
Maximo.
Yeah. We're trying to take a few breaks, see who's hanging out, have a little fun with people. We're learning. We're always learning.
On there too.
Um,
Sabrina's been in like the last 7 of them. So hey, girl.
oh, right on. And then Timothy, what? $5,500? What are you talking about? Where do you live?
Tim Schmidt.
Manhattan.
Oh, we're talking about rent.
Yeah,
$5,500. Yeah.
What can you
I
get?
know.
Well, I don't know what they were
Listen,
saying, but what can you get? What can you get for $5,500 in Denver for living?
yeah. Well, my old apartment, like I used to pay like somewhere around $2,000, and it recently got gentrified, and they wouldn't renew our lease and all that, and it went up to $6,500 a month. So
The place he was living.
yeah,
Damn.
Yeah.
Expensive. That's a
It
little
was. Let's not kid ourselves. It was a pretty sweet apartment he lived in, a penthouse overlooking the city.
That's not where you are. That's not where you are right now.
it was underpriced at the time.
oh,
Super
man.
underpriced.
You were writing this very long lease. It was great while I was there. I'll tell you that much.
sounds like one of you is a real estate broker, dude, or maybe Kelly. That's what they always say. Oh, well, it was just underpriced at the time. It's like what?
They're like, yeah, no, you got to go.
Yeah, we're not making enough. We're not making enough money.
Building, so.
All right. Well, let's see if you're checking in here, listening or listening later. If you go to Denver, hit up these guys. Pay attention to what they say about altitude sickness. Don't get it. You're stupid. If you do and you listen to this, then I can't help you.
Don't think like you're at sea level when you come and visit. That's for certain.
I have a bunch of friends that are going to the DMC's DJ Throwdown. That was one of our guests, Ross. Remember, Wes?
Yeah.
He's
Oh
doing,
yeah. He was on here. It was like a year ago.
Yeah, the DMCs are what, next week? I should know this. But
I don't know the date for sure, but I know it's coming up. You're right.
in Denver. So there's a crew that's going out there. I wish I could go, but we're going to be in Canada. So.
Oh yeah. Doesn't that suck when you have to tell somebody, no, I can't be there. I gotta go to a festival in Canada.
Gotta go to Canada.
Awful, but no.
It totally sucks. Hey, speaking of which, Electric Love people, well, anybody, hey, I tell you what, if you listen to this now or later, I thought I'd try an old school thing. If you send us a self-addressed stamped envelope, how long's it been since anyone did that? If you send us a DM Kelly on the Facebook feed, if you anytime, whatever, or later, or me, if you send us a self-addressed stamped envelope, we will send you some swag.
What are stamps, bro?
I know, dude. I know. We'll send you. But the thing is, you gotta. This is, like, okay, if you're under 30, you probably don't remember ever having done this.
Young audience on that one.
But I'm just saying, you can go down to the post office. Hey, look, you got to go to the mailbox if you want to get the button. What I'm trying to tell you all is we got some cool swag coming. We got some new folding sunglasses. We got some stickers. We got some buttons. And if you just send us a self-addressed stamped envelope, we'll send you something back. That's all I'm trying to say.
Okay.
and the reason for that is because I'm not trying to handwrite or even print labels for all that shit. I'm trying to pull it out of the envelope, put the button in, seal it, sign it, and send it back. That's how that works, folks.
The closest place I can get a stamp from. Do they still sell them at like 7-Elevens and stuff?
I got to.
They sell them at the post office.
Hey,
There's not them. I mean, but I think you used to be able to buy them at 7-Eleven, and
you could. Yeah, there used to be stamp machines and things. So I know.
Yeah, too. Like when you get your money out, they'll be like, "Do you want stamps too?" And you'll be like, "Yeah, throw me 2 stamps for swag from Juice."
I know for a fact it still works. So the business address you can send this stuff to, which is our public address anyway, is 810. You can send it to 810 Juice Recordings, 810 Emerald Street, number 112, San Diego, California, 92109. send us your envelope. And I know it works because I went down to the post office this morning, and I know, Rob, it's like the first time I've been there in like 3 years.
I'm sitting here thinking, I hope Josh remembered that address so we can get our swag.
Well, it's on the video. It's on the video, so I don't care. It's on the website too, so I don't really care. If you're on our newsletter, it's at the bottom of there as well. So it's not like a private thing. But I thought I'd say it here in case someone's like, dude, I got 10 extra minutes and I found 2 envelopes while I was watching the Variety Show, and I thought I'd fill it out and steal stamps from my grandma and send it. So
what's the zip code one more time?
92109. So yeah, that's the deal. So basically, you take one envelope, which you got to put postage on with that address, and then you put yours inside with your own address as the address that it's going back to. That's how it works. Anyway, that's like fan clubs. It's like fan clubs back when like maybe the first Green Army men were invented or something, the little plastic dudes or something. And now they're all digital. So anyway, we'll talk about cryptocurrency next. That's how you afford. Hey, speaking of which, though, there's probably a lot of that going on in Colorado. Y'all know any people into crypto stuff?
I know some people into it, but yeah, I don't know a whole lot about it anymore. I watched the rise and plummet of Bitcoin so many times, and
yeah, no joke.
But my dad,
we had some dudes on here a week or so ago, and they were they're local guys. They've been on for DJs and stuff as well. But anyway, we were talking all about crypto stuff, and yeah, they talked about a lot of rise and fall. They're still watching, holding up for those candlesticks. Boop.
I saw friends who didn't have money 5 years ago when everybody told them to buy them.
Yeah. Do y'all know any Bitcoin millionaires? You know any Bitcoinaires? I think that's what they're called.
Yeah. I know a couple of people that bought them when they were really high and then lost a bunch of money too. So yeah.
Yeah, that happens too. Well, I'm asking because I think it's funny. Like I had some friends unrelated to Bitcoin, but people becoming millionaires without really knowing it or meaning to do it. I had some friends that were, as y'all probably did, that were part of the kind of second.com boom. And, some of them worked for places like a few of them were like, they just ended up having like $10 million over the course of 1 year. Like they went from like being an entry-level programmer at AOL, and like the next thing you know, they had like $10 million. And then they quit.
Last month, now I've got 7 figures in the bank. What's going on here?
Yeah, of course they quit. They quit and sold their options, and then they were just like, they were out, man. They were working for like internet service providers that all got bought up by whoever, and a couple of them were working at. That's back when I was in Washington, D.C., so there was a lot of that activity going on very early, I guess, and, it's a pretty smart group of people there, programmers, dev people, whatever. But anyway, some of them were working for, like, Network Solutions, who had, like, the exclusive deal on all the domain names, before GoDaddy and all that jazz. And then some of them working at AOL. Yeah, those cats cashed out, took 10 years off, came back and were like, they all bought houses. The funniest thing was they bought these huge houses, dude, like 6-bedroom, 8-bedroom, because they didn't know what to do with the money. They're like 25 years old. And they bought these things, and then they would be like, they would have like one big barbecue, and you would go over there, and the only thing they would have was like the shit from when they lived in their studio apartment. Here, literally, this is literally, and this is probably not changed. Like the Bitcoinaires are probably the same. So like basically what they had was you'd go over to their spot. It'd be like on a whole acre, all these rooms, a pool, whatever. You go inside. The only thing they would have is like a huge TV, bigger than they could fit in their studio, with all the video game consoles. And then they would have the same exact furniture that they had back at their studio. The rest of the place, crickets.
Yeah. Could you imagine having the same furniture you had in college?
Right. And like two turntables on some concrete blocks or milk crates. That's what they had going on. Yeah. So yeah, I think they got bored with it and then just took 10 years off and went and, did whatever, travel the world or something. Well, that's pretty cool though. But I don't know any Bitcoin people like that. I'm sure there's some out there.
Yeah, you hear about them. You sure do hear about it a lot, I think. And I sure haven't met anybody yet.
Well, generally speaking, statistically, there's about 10,000 of them that would have $1 million or more from, in holding. And that doesn't mean they bought it really cheap and then made it or whatever. But if you go, there's some stat sites out there. So about 10,000 of them. That's not that many people, to be honest, because there's like 20 I think the stat, there's like 35 million people in the world that are millionaires or more. So if only 10,000 of them, got their loot off of Bitcoin, that's a really small group of people,
Fair enough.
right?
Fair enough.
Fair enough. I think there's one out here because I think what the modern ones are like out here on the boardwalk where I live, I run up and down it or ride my bike up and down it a lot. And I'm pretty sure that the ones that are the Bitcoin ones are like, they've rented like this $10,000 a week vacation, spot. There's a lot of vacation rentals here on the beach. And so they rented that and they're chilling by themselves and they've got classical music blaring. I'm pretty sure like that's the profile I'm going to give them. And then they always end up with people. They always end up people. Once they start barbecuing and giving away stuff for free, there's all kinds of people come around.
I'd love to hear classical music blasting on your boardwalk there.
It's the best, dude. Like you're rolling up. That's got to be somebody that ran into a ton of money, man, and just doesn't know what to do. So they just like, okay, I'm going to go find a beach and hang out for 6 months, whatever. They're the people buying the houses in cash in my neighborhood, and I can't buy one.
Blast the classical out of this boat.
It's the best, dude. It's like that video. The one where the guy like, I'm on a boat from like 10 years or 5 years ago or whatever. All right, dude. Back to music. I'm sorry for the distraction. Back to music. I know you guys have plenty of more awesome things to say about music.
I'm on boat song.
Yeah, you remix that, dude. Hey, so musically speaking, so people, don't get confused. Where anyone hanging out or listens later, where's the best spot for them to go to find, the L.E.F, whatever,
Right.
interwebs presence.
We, what, Wes, we did like, obviously the stuff we've done with Juice. Obviously, I think there's a few on Spotify with you guys, and definitely Beatport as far as Juice is concerned.
Yeah.
And, but we've the songs we've released, we've done it through Spotify, iTunes, and even Amazon Music. It's on, and
we're on Pandora with a couple of tracks too.
Pandora
At
and
least one.
Yeah, and certainly with the SoundCloud as well. So if you can find us at L.E.F. Low and frequency, or I think that's what it is, or sound.
Get it together, guys. I'm gonna go find it for you.
We're on Facebook and Instagram for the most part.
Yeah.
What's the SoundCloud one? It's soundcloud.com/what?
It's L.E.F. is how we find ourselves.
Oh, all right.
So
they let you use dots on SoundCloud in the name?
Dots.
I mean,
yeah, pretty
I
sure.
don't know our SoundCloud address right off.
I'm gonna put that in L.E.F.
There it is.
That shit ain't there, man.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
You can't put no dots in a domain name like that, man. It's got to be L.E.F.
Hey guys, you had one job.
It's not L.E. It's not L.E.F. It's not L.E.F. That's some dude from the province of China, bro, from Taiwan.
I got L.E.F. Yeah, man.
L.E.F. Wait a minute.
The URL.
I'm just gonna search the regular thing. We're going crazy here trying to find our guests. Maybe Kelly can hunt that down. Anyway, how would you, while she's hunting that down, you can maybe post it in the comments real quick, Kelly. But other than that, what would you guys kind of describe your influences and style today? Like what? Because it's pretty all over the place, man. I like it. I mean, obviously we've got a couple of your tracks out, so.
We obviously Wes, me and you, we go back to the Gainesville, Florida days and
Yeah, man.
Diamond days, and growing up in the 90s with the break beats, and so that certainly is a big part of my influence. And I always loved that Dynamix and all the fun stuff growing up. And I mean, I guess it was Icy and everybody, the whole crew. It was all and I know Josh here grew up on the drum and bass.
Well, yeah, I'm from Oklahoma originally, so. But I did have a really good influence with the fact that my godfather owned the only independent record store in town that was worth notes. So I would sit there and coerce him to give me all the electronic tracks that were coming out. So I got into the Chemical Brothers and the old Prodigy thing, and started ordering these 140 BPM plus mixes that came out with all this drum and bass stuff. And yeah, I carried all that love, over with a bunch of rock and roll and everything else, and started doing like hip-hop DMC style mixing for a while. And then here in Denver, I found a love for drum and bass. Like, at least I found out what I liked was drum and bass here in Denver, like I didn't really know the defining of all the techno genres until I got here. So
What? Yeah. Well, that's enough things to mix together. But I was gonna say it sounds like you guys do a lot of uh, like maybe original instrumentation or at least kit creation, because you got like you got songs in all different BPMs, of course, but
Yeah.
but
So
clearly there's a there's a blend of the sounds regardless of what the song is. So my assumption is you're creating a number of that, or from instrumentation, what's going on there versus like sample packs or producer packs.
we're getting. I mean, I guess as far as the packs goes, we go to those. What is it?
we got quite a few VSTs that
Yeah. So I mean, we're West. We build everything. It's certainly not sample loops or anything. We're definitely building. When it comes to our projects, we're building them. So I'd say any given project file is going to have anywhere from 40 to 60 tracks on it.
Yeah, that's yeah. I mean, I believe it totally. Yeah, I mean, I use a lot of samples, so I ain't dissing samples. I just and I license them all, so that's what they're for. That's just what this business is these days, or that's a style of the artistic creation. But I notice with your stuff, there's clearly a more of a not a reuse in a stagnant way, just a reuse of really cool sounds that don't sound like they came necessarily from a sample pack.
They're coming out of VSTs. They're coming out of Serum, Massive, Lethal, Omnis. And so we use all the native instruments. We have all the complete stuff and all the I'm trying to think who does Omnisphere and Trilogy, Spectrasonics. We use that a lot. We're definitely using a lot of VSTs with everything, a lot.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Yeah, we probably cross over as with a lot of producers with a lot of those, and then there's presets in there, of course. Plus, you can do your own sound design, which is cool as well. Any outboard gear you guys are like big fans of, or pretty much keeping it inside the computer?
Most of I've kept a few pieces around from a few years ago. I've got an old XV 3080 rolling that I love. I don't think I'll ever get rid of it. Probably not worth anything these days, but I've got it filled up with all the cards on the inside, and I got an old Core Karma actually sitting right here in front of the computer. It's hard to see with the camera. I don't think you can see it, but so I've got old. I don't know if you remember those things, the Core Karmas, and
I don't.
I mean, there's a few outboard gears, but you know what, Wes? Really, I used this old keyboard for really just a MIDI controller.
Yeah, I was just about to say that's what, dude. I've got a. You can't see. Well, you can't see the Moog. Like I've got two that have keyboards built into them. Like a Sub 37 and another, and they're. It's just funny because sometimes that's all I'm doing is just using it as a MIDI controller. I'm like, God damn, that's an expensive MIDI controller, dude.
Yeah, all right. Like, I mean, I think it was a couple grand. This keyboard probably was a couple grand when it first came out.
You could deck out like an entire complete Native Instruments, all the bullshit with the price of the one keyboard that I'm using as a controller. But I mean, but the thing is, it's not like I went out and bought it for that reason. I mean, I had it a long time, so it's a little different when it's like, when that was the only option and you own this piece of gear. And then, fortunately, actually, it just so happens that if you want to spend the time doing the sound generation, which I do sometimes, you can totally get cool sounds out of that gear, particularly, like the Moogs I have. And then, but even if not, then at least it's got some utility, still to use.
Yeah, it's some of these things they're old, but I guess I've gotten rid of half of it, but I'll keep half of it. I'll never get rid of it. It's like some of these records behind me right here. I haven't played some of them in years, but I will never get rid of them.
Yeah, I finally parted with mine. I don't know if you guys know DJ Love. He lives in Texas, but I finally parted with the vinyl. Um, that just hadn't been used in so long, man. And he's the only person I know that still DJs only
Not playing
vinyl.
all the vinyl around all the time, that's for sure.
Yeah, he only DJ. Yeah, I was starting to like feel bad. I was looking at him going, man, I should start making those little bowls that you put in the sun, and coasters, and maybe some raveware or
Well,
something.
$10 an hour to come over here and record these things, the CD for me, so I could import them on my computer.
Yeah, dude. That's funny you said that. Another thing I forgot about a while back is that I hadn't talked about before on here is did you guys ever have like a CD collection and then you converted all that to MP3?
Oh yeah. You don't make me go get my book.
Dude, I got rid of all mine finally because I sold them to some dude on the internet that would buy just boxes of music CDs on sight unseen. He would just buy them like heck pennies on the CD, and I was like, well, and I had already encoded them. I had an assistant one summer. She spent 3 months, dude. It was like a full time job, dude.
Ripping CDs.
8 hours a day. I bought an iMac. And she sat there all day, and that's what she did was put the CD in and wait till the Grace Note thing picked it up, and she made sure like if it didn't find all the titles and whatever, so that it properly ripped the MP3. Then
type them all in.
Yeah, well, she would make 2 stacks. She would make the stack that was unidentified because she didn't know anything about music, so she make the stack that was unidentified and the stack that was fine, and then she just did that. I'm not kidding you, dude. For 8 hours a day for like a whole summer, 3 months. She was an intern.
I don't even know how many hours I've got, and even ripping the CDs is a lot easier when you really talk about turning the records over to digital. You have to, a lot of these records, Wes Kelly, they're from the 90s, so that's when the songs were 8 minutes long, and
yeah.
So when you're ripping these things, you got to listen from beginning to end. So a lot of them are 8 to 10 minutes long. You got to listen to that whole song. So,
there's no. At least with the CD, you can walk away, have some tea, do online shit.
I recorded 8 records in an hour and a half.
Yeah, you got to. Yeah, no, that's a good point because you got to set up your little USB, converter turntable or your audio card if you're more advanced. Then you got to play that thing and let it play. And then you got to go back and listen to what recorded to make sure you didn't get any pops or anything, so it's actually usable. So you're on a 5-minute song, that's a 15-minute project, dude. You're doing 4 or 5-minute songs an hour. That would take that's why I gave mine away. That's why I gave mine to Frank, man, because I was like,
behind me, bro, thousands of these things. So you're like, none of it will all get done ever.
I was like, I either came to terms that I had to have a place big enough to want to like line the entire place in record sleeves for art reasons, or give them to somebody that could use them. And so Frank, DJ Love there, that's all he does. He's still vinyl purist. So I was like, he's the man for the records. So
yeah,
he's still got it.
It's got to be nice to go to somebody that appreciates the music.
I felt good about it, and I really thought, this was more than 5 years ago, I thought, it's cool. I've come to terms with this. I'll part with him. I sent him to him. I shipped him, and he got him, and he was like super stoked. And still to this day, dude, I know he's sold a few of them, probably like some of the stuff that was just weird, like the Carpenters or something ended up in there somehow. But the dude went through like every one of them, and he's got 50. Like I still see, because he does like a live, like he does his own live podcast, not like a talk thing, but like a DJ turntablist class session, and then some guitar stuff and whatever. He does live casts of that, and you can see
you had to have some real gems in that record collection you just gave away. I mean, there had to be. I mean, I know how long you've been playing records, and I know where you used to get the records from. There had to be some real...
Oh yeah, dude, it was all... Yeah. I mean, there was like probably every formative drum and bass classic, probably every formative techno classic, and by formative, I'm talking like those first 3 years or so when the genre really like came out, you know,
Yeah.
4 years, whatever. I mean, Progressive House, it was all in there, dude. Trance, Goa Trance, I had a whole collection of Goa Trance. I was like, dude, I was like, I don't even remember playing the Goa Trance. And then I realized, like, oh, okay, maybe that's why. I was like, Goa Trance, dude, I don't know. But
Don't remember those nights, but I'm sure, obviously, if there was a shelf of those, you were rocking it for a few days.
all of it, dude. And there was like, no, you're totally right. I mean, there was like every big beat record ever. There was, you know, all the a lot of breakbeat records, you know, that were more like the 128 style stuff. Because the big beat was slower, you know, 122, 120, as much as I recall anyway. It was a long time.
Wes, there's a few records I've had to search for years for. One right off the top of my head is like Beat Club Security. Man, I don't think I could ever get rid of that record. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'd be a tough one to get rid of. There's a few of them I have like that.
Yeah, I totally feel you. And that was hard for me to get over because I was like, I can't go searching through all these because as soon as I start, I know I'm going to end up with like, I know I'm going to end up with like 5 to 10 crates of stuff that I don't want to give him. And then what's the point? Because I'm going to have to carry these things around forever. So I sent them all. But anyway, he's got like all 50. It was 50 or 60 of these custom wood white crates that I had built, and real nice. And so they look really sweet in his loft in Dallas somewhere. But anyway, he still got them. He probably replaced all my records with his shit that was laying on the floor, just so I would think that they're still there. He just used my crates.
Yeah, pick up.
He sold them all. Frank probably sold them all. That's how he bought his like new like Power Mac or something.
Fair enough. Man.
He's just telling me. So what? All right, that's music stuff. You got the album coming out. That's awesome. We'll definitely help y'all promote it whenever you get around to doing your thing with that. What on the movie side, man? I know there's some movie business going on.
Mr. Josh here.
Yeah, I've been working on a project for a bit. Like it's out. It's already finished as a project, but getting it out to the public is a different story. But
Sure.
Title films The American Jungle, and it's basically a documentary. Yeah.
On the public, I've seen it.
Ellie was out at the New York screening. We screened it in 5 cities so far.
Cool.
Chicago, New York. We've done San Diego out there with Julian and
you guys came out here, or they just screened it for you?
They screened it for me. Keyframe and the Jamal. What's the name of their Stamina DMB? Both of them had something to do with that.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, basically we're going up to Minneapolis to screen the movie again on August 25th, and that's the latest thing with it. And we're looking to get a normal kind of distribution deal going with it currently. But
so what else? So I was going to ask, what are you trying to do? Just in case I know anybody, like, are you trying to get more screening places, or how does that even work? I know nothing about the music. I mean, the movie distribution, business.
Yeah, and it's something that I was really familiar getting into it with. I had a partner that went to school for it and everything, but he kind of dropped the ball in the situation. But I'm still looking to get it out rather than just shelf it or give it out for free or something. So
Right.
I'm looking for a normal kind of deal where we can get some of the people paid back that were involved with the making of the film, and maybe some to the artists and stuff too that were involved, including like the Almond Break section. Those guys, the Winstons, very under-recognized and underpaid group for the amount of us in music generally.
You're talking about. Wait, are you talking about everyone on this video right now? I'm kidding with you.
Yeah,
Some big names on that video.
Yeah. No, I feel you.
In particular, because like so much breakbeat was made from this one sample off this one funk record that came out the 60s. So those guys, they deserve a lot of credit for putting those.
What's some of those? Because I kind of was laughing around when you were talking about that. But what's a few of the, without giving away the documentary or whatever, or the film? Like what are some of those roots things that you focus on in there?
Well, we definitely focus on the history of drum and bass in its entirety. Mainly, just like it starts from the beginning where reggae kind of met with like punk. We like go through the whole situation and how that went to the UK. Reggae actually went to the UK through this dub plate kind of revolution thing where everybody's adding all these dub kind of like sounds to reggae, which is a lot of like echoey reverb and stuff like that. But it merged with the punk scene in the UK, and it kind of merged with them right at the same time that all this banging techno started. When people really started getting in the studio and making like techno like sounds for real and putting them into tracks, that's where the whole spawning point, for drum and bass kind of happened. And so we cover all that.
What year was that around historically? What year was that? Did that come in?
Drum and bass was formed like probably around '92 with like a couple of major titles like We Are IE by Lenny Diaz and the 28 Gun Bad Boy and a few other tracks that were like major jungle kind of like the forerunners of the whole music genre. So
how did you get in touch with these people? Like did you or what was like because I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know like what's in it.
It was a peek, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, we
I'm trying to get you a peek of the movie, Wes.
I mean,
they'll flag us on YouTube. The best thing that could happen is they'll flag us for copyright on YouTube, and maybe it'll get more popular.
Yeah, it's good though. I mean, we just kind of started locally and with smaller groups of people that we were trying to, just show what was going on in their cities, and then we went to the larger cities from there. But it kind of gained momentum while we were on our tour, honestly. And like after we stopped in Philly and talked to a bunch of cats there, like a lot of the New York crew was ready to go. And we talked to DB, we talked to Dara, we talked to Diesel Boy, IQ, a bunch of like really old school New York pioneers in the scene there, just like on a local basis, that really didn't like blow up out of their city. And then we continued and we just continued and continued. I mean, 23 cities altogether that we went to, that conducted over 150 interviews. We have like 120.
Damn, dude. How long did this take?
It was
took
pretty
a while.
It took a while.
Like like years? It sounds like it.
Yeah. Altogether, the project from when we started on it, we're already 6.5 years into it. And I mean,
are you exhausted or what, man?
It was definitely pretty crazy, and we did a lot of the filming like in a very condensed amount of time. Like it was like, okay, we got to do 100 interviews like in this month, and then we got to do another 100 interviews like another year down, but all in 1 month again because we're having to travel.
Wow.
So, pretty much filled up my car with a bunch of equipment and went for it.
Dang, dude! So you drove around as much as you could and did that. Like so I found a page. Is this you? There's a page, the American Jungle.
Yeah.
Fan page on Facebook.
Yeah.
Go check it out, people. The American Jungle. They got stuff going on up there. Posted every jungle thing on the planet associated to them.
Learn about the history. Learn about the culture. Learn about like the American influences of drum and bass and jungle. Its contributions and how our scene kind of is like on a slight level, and then hopefully when we carry on with it, we'll be going to these cities again.
Yeah. So there's a trailer. There's a trailer there as well. So that's cool.
I put the link in there.
Yeah, nice. What drove you to do this, dude?
Basically, just the love for the music generally, and I was looking for something a little bit more interesting to add to the portfolio. I had been doing drum and bass and jungle like a promoter and like DJ for, since like 2002 is when I started on all that. And, it never really paid any bills or anything. It was just what I was doing for fun, and I really enjoyed myself. I really liked promoting that. But I was like, hey, maybe if we do something a little bit more next level, then maybe these people in this, genre can actually get a little bit more attention and maybe start actually putting, some money into their lifestyle, rather than just struggling artists for a lot of time.
There's a lot of focus on, not a lot of focus on stateside a lot. So
that's true.
Yeah, it's appreciated that something like this came out. And actually, I met Josh at the New York screening, and even though you said that you were doing all that and, you're going and traveling and doing all the interviews, when I met him, he was in the back of the room and he was beaming like from ear to ear. I was like, I need to meet this person. Like, he is so happy right now. And then like this is the beginning, he's a little puffed out like that. And then I watched it, and then I came up to him afterwards. But yeah, it was really good. It's really good. I won't give anything away.
So you've been obviously you've traveled to some of the screenings.
I've been at all of them except for the San Diego one, unfortunately. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dude, what's up with that?
Everywhere.
Everybody always, well, at least it's not like that deal where, at least it's not that deal where I meet somebody.
Wes is there. I'm not going, bro.
I'm like, what's up? I'm here, man. Give me a shout, dude. We've got there's like 11, at least 11 ways you can find any human that's not trying to hide. So if you come to San Diego, hit me up, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to talk about getting you back out to Colorado too, huh? See if we can get you that altitude sickness again.
Yeah. We definitely need to. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's definitely last year, I guess, 2017, when ShYo and I, ShYo out of San Francisco, when we did a few, I think we talked with you a little bit, Rob, at the time, and we threw back and forth a few ideas. The timing wasn't right or whatever, just didn't work out. We did other things, but that was kind of, that's kind of how touring goes. You reach out and you reach out and you do the things that are going to work, and the others you kind of have to come back another day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I take that back. The screening that we had recently was San Francisco. We filmed in San Diego. I talked to some cats out there, but the screening was in San Fran. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Well, if you do a screening down here, or that kind of thing gets going, or you want some help trying to get one together, let me know, because we've got some there's some real drum and bass talent down here, and although some of them historically are probably very in tune with what your project is, some maybe not as well. But there's a good young and let's say historically experienced crew here in San Diego. There's
stopped by and filmed there. We did talk to cats out there for sure.
Yeah, SD Union is here, and MC Rita. Those are the ones I know the best in terms of like a
stayed with Rita while we were out there.
Okay, cool. But I'd imagine like if you were going to do any kind of screening or something. I mean, I don't know how you do all that stuff or what it takes to coordinate it, but it seems to me like if you were going to do it in San Diego, it would be, personally for me, it would be super cool to like have the screening like maybe at the nightclub before they do a big drum and bass night. That just makes sense, but maybe not.
And the formula, like flat out, like at the one in Minneapolis, Danny the Wild Child is the one headlining, along with DJ Hyperactive.
Okay. Yeah, because you're going to give your crowd, your crowd, that works for everybody. You get a few people out or however, whatever, pack the place to watch the movie and then hang out a little and roll right into a killer club night with similar interest in music, right? So,
yeah.
All right, man. We might have to, maybe. I like the idea, man. Occasionally I help do some philanthropic things.
And we can chat it up.
Well, I've been looking for a reason, to do something, for about 18 years, I've been looking for a reason to do something with drum and bass, so I'm not planning on really playing it like in terms of a focus or anything. I'll drop a few here and there, but maybe I can help sort of I'll try to remember, and next time I see Tyler, I'll see if I can, if that sounds of interest or not. Have you guys already talked about that or no?
Here and there. I think there's like some kind of show there that's like an annual thing. I'm trying to think of the name of.
They do a few drum and bass shows a year. They've also the same crew. Well, the same crew is also United by Bass.
Yeah.
So they do a ton of non-drum and bass shows. So it's you gotta.
We talked about this larger event that they both come together and do at one point, but I don't know if that's still gonna happen or.
Okay. Well, they might have been talking about the West Coast Weekender or.
Boom, nailed it.
Yeah. So that was in May. That's always in May, but that could be cool. That could be a cool place to do it for sure. Because I don't know if they're going to do it at the same space or not this year, but if they did, seems like it'd be cool.
Yeah.
But you know, some of that stuff takes a long time too, dude. So I don't know. Whatever. If I see him and I remember, which I'll try, I'll see. You know, I'll just at least prod. I'll like stick the poker in the fire a little bit.
Tell Rita what's up for sure.
Yeah, no doubt, man. So the movie. What else about you know? I don't know what's it like making. You know, you obviously put in a lot of time. You had the idea. It took a long time to do it, which I expected, and then you know trying to get it screenings, distribution. I'm sure is a nightmare, just like music. You know,
I'm just an independent guy. I'm a musician more than I am a filmmaker, and now it's kind of like turned full circle after 5 years of making a film. I'm more of a filmmaker, but I still do both as much as possible. You know?
Are there other projects or like what are you into? You know, I don't know. Like sometimes people like to talk about whatever you know, like they do outside of music or the way that I know them, I should say. Like I know Rob's a big golfer.
I am.
So don't think I'm not gonna get into your golf handicap.
I still get down on that golf course. I do.
Yeah. If there's anything you do, it's golf, and then that recreational thing. It's allowed in Colorado now, and music that I know. How do speaking you know doing some brain synapses here as far as the recreational marijuana thing goes? I'm curious. That's been what 4 years now? 5 years?
I think it's about 5 years, 4 years.
I think 14 was the year that I went recreational.
Yeah, then you're right on the money with that.
So I'm curious, like, how has that changed with like, obviously more people doing it or able to do it, at least that is publicly, you know, visible. And then, but how's it like the work culture? Like how I'm curious, like how does that kind of affect things? Like, you know, like are employers like, you know, like that kind of stuff, whether you guys are your friends, like, is it just like, can you go out and if you're in a job that doesn't have a drug screen, can you go out and smoke a spliff on your work break and come back or what?
You know what, Wes, they make those pins out here now that you can damn near carry anywhere you go and walk into the, I mean, you can't smell them. You can't do it. I mean, they're pretty.
That's true.
Incognito ways to do it. As for like actual legalities and everything, like they still drug test for all the jobs and people aren't allowed to smoke weed, you know. I think like Boston or something might have done something to where, or Massachusetts did something to where they can actually, you know, it's not required by law to have, on the drug test to have marijuana as a testing subject.
There's a threshold too that they'll look at.
So I guess I mean they kind of treat it like alcohol. I guess alcohol's legal, but you can't drink it.
It's like close, but
it's super close, dude. You know, in my business and in my jobs, there's no drug testing of it. They certainly don't look at marijuana as a bad thing.
I mean, we got one social place where you could go and actually smoke weed in a social setting in public now, and that just happened. And I can't remember the name of it. But
I'm not sure the name, but
there's one place where you can actually do that, like coffee shop style Amsterdam.
Oh, really? Like you actually like there's a spot where all the pothead hippies can convene and smoke together instead of drinking that shitty alcohol, you know, poison. And that's amazing. That's amazing that's allowed now, huh? It's crazy.
Yeah, you know, and they expect that just to keep growing and growing and growing out here. And you know, I DJ in the clubs and the bars, and but I always have to tell people like, listen, I know it's legal here, but you can't smoke in the bar, you know. And
yeah.
Go across the street to the dispensary, buy a pen, and no one knows what the hell you're doing. It's so simple. You know?
Yeah.
Why
are all these people sucking on their ink pens? Are they waiting to sign something?
It's not smelling up the place.
Yeah, totally. Dude, inhale. Don't not inhale.
There's a lot of it out here. You know, when we have friends come in from out of state, and you take them into the dispensaries out here, and I'm sure you know our boy Kenny Knight in Florida. He came out here, take him into the dispensary. We go down to a legal Pete's. I throw my weed up on the bar and order a burrito, and he looks at me. He's like, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm like, "No, it's cool. No one sees. No one cares.
Right.
I'm not smoking it."
So that's basically the big thing is like up to a certain weight you can have it on you and in public, You may not be able to smoke it, but you can have it on your person, and you're not going to get flipped or whatever.
No, there's nothing. Yeah, anybody can have an ounce on them since it only takes an ounce to get high.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if you and all your friends all have an ounce.
An ounce of shatter. That's all everyone needs.
Yeah, dude. Speaking of completely other synapses, Kelly, real quick, I got my. What I was about to say was I got my. I think I got my Burning Man tickets.
Uh-huh.
And are you going this year?
That is a negative.
Negative. Have you guys ever been?
I'm skipping.
I never been either. No, I got the invite to play a couple times and just never made it out there, unfortunately.
Because it would cost you $3,000 to go play a gig?
It's quite pricey to go out to the party in the desert for a week.
I just don't like getting dirty. Yeah, paying to get dirty all day. I don't know.
It seems to be quite the. I can remember people going out there 6-7 years ago, Wes, and it wasn't that expensive. But now that I hear how much the tickets are, the week pass, and the whole thing, you're like, man, between the pass, the food, and shelter, everything you're going to need, you're dropping $2 or $3 grand.
I would say that's definitely true if you're not in driving distance, So, because it's like 10 hours for me to drive there. I do it in 2 days. But yeah, it's still, you're still in a square 500 to get your ticket and car, all that jazz, squared away for the week. And that's if you use your own vehicle or whatever, or carpool. But you're still, so you're easy in 7 between ticket and gas. If you're within reasonable, let's say 1 day driving distance, you're easy in like $7 just there.
I'm married, so it's me plus one for everything I do.
Yeah. And food, then food, you're always bringing more than you need. So, to make sure you're not like a sparkle pony out there who's, sucking off everybody else. So you're, a few $100 for that. So, I mean, Kelly, wouldn't you say like...
has a pet on sparkle pony from here on out.
Yeah. You ever heard that term before?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, that's a term for like first time burners or burners that
you're just showing up.
They basically just show up, dog, with no didn't read the website, didn't talk to anybody. Don't even someone gave them the ticket, it doesn't necessarily mean they're good or bad people. They just basically but statistically speaking, if you are a hardcore sparkle pony by way of Burning Man, statistically speaking, you probably have not done a lot for yourself in your life either. Right. So,
you know what, Wes? Last time, just like Burning Man, the last time I went down to the music conference in Miami, me and my wife went down there, and that cost me upward of $6,000 almost.
Okay,
and
Miami is a whole other animal, and it's way more expensive to go to Miami than it is to go to Burning Man.
I looked at my wife. I was like, we could have gone anywhere in the world for the money we spent in Miami for 1 week.
Yeah. Totally.
I was like, she's like, oh, we should do that. I'm like, shit, it is. Like, we can go to China next time and not Miami for the same price.
Yeah, totally. Well, this is gonna be my 5th year. I'm going this year. I have to have a really good reason to go because I'm not a year-round burner. I mean, I respect it and appreciate a lot of the things they do because there's a ton of good contributions that are made by a lot of people that are involved in it year-round. But I'm not. I don't consider myself in that category, I'm a casual burner, I guess. But I do a good job when I'm out there. So anyway, I'm this year I'm going to go because 2 things. One, don't hold me to this yet, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to do it. So one, they have a ultra marathon. You guys know I'm a runner, so they've got an ultra marathon that they do out there at Burning Man. So that's 50K. So it's like 30.1 or 31 miles, something like that. Anyway. But you're running it out there at Burning Man. So you basically run a bunch of loops around Burning Man, which is, I don't know, that probably sounds stupid. And to runners, I don't even, if there's anything, yeah, I mean, I'll call myself a DJ, producer, runner. You know, those are titles I'll call myself. I'll be called and be okay with it.
I mean, if you're a Burning Man, I mean, would streaking be okay? Then it would be.
Totally. You can totally do that. But I can tell you right now, you don't want to run. You don't want to run no part of 31 miles with your junk hanging out.
Yeah.
You could need like a cheap stick or something.
Yeah, there's a prior. We have a prior.
What is Burning Man, Wes?
Well, we have a prior episode. We had a prior episode we did with my friend Kimby, and she ran. She's a burner and desert party friend of mine, and we ran the San Diego Rock and Roll Marathon together. Anyway, we talked for like a couple hours. Got pretty. I think that's the most drunk I ever got on a variety show. Like I became the guest and she was the host. I'm not sure what happened, but it got sideways by the end. But anyway, yeah, we were talking about all the chafing and all the stuff that goes along with running without clothes on. You think it's a cool idea?
Bond is your best friend. I get it.
Yeah, you think it's a cool idea until the chafe kicks in and you still got 10 miles to go, and then you're like, oh, this isn't going to end well.
That's real issues right there, my brother.
Yeah, that's serious news, and it happens to ladies too, folks. Don't think you just go running around naked. It doesn't happen. So but I don't know how. I mean, speaking of which, I don't know how why this popped into my head. I don't know, but can you that's what the people used to do when the caveman ran around with spears, like chasing animals, right?
Right. I guess you're right. Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's why this. But you hear they used to that's survival, so you do it all day. I wonder if they develop calluses and stuff.
That's why they developed underwear, homie.
That's why in every for real they didn't wear anything, but in all the shows, because you can't show genitalia and stuff, they cover them up in these little skimpy things, and they were just come on, dude, they had to have something or they were chafing. Maybe they rubbed a bunch of animal fat on themselves or something before they took off for the day.
So anyway,
sound more appealing now.
Kelly, I'm sorry, Kelly. What were you saying?
So anyway, girl.
Kelly's trying to keep us from sliding down the rabbit hole.
I was trying to tell you that you had friends in the chat, but I mean, if you really want to talk about chafing somewhere, we can go with that.
No, who we got? We'll take a chat intermission. It's a chatter mission. That's gonna be our.
Start cooking dinner here in a few minutes. To be real with you guys.
That's gonna be our new word. Are you just gonna cook? Can we just watch you cook Can you move the camera and just cook on film for 10 minutes?
I've got a whole family in town staying with me this week. I've got 7 teenage boys in my house here in about.
They're there now or they're coming?
They're coming in here in a few, yeah.
What time you got to go? You got 15 minutes?
I got about 10, 15 minutes, yeah.
All right, man. Well, we'll kick you out and just keep talking.
Well, you got Mr. Freeman right here. He ain't got to go now.
I got my 30, which is 5 minutes from now.
Well, your buddy, who was it? Jarl? He was on here, right?
Yep,
you guys know him?
Who is this?
I met him in Tennessee. I think he used to live in Denver.
He lives in Denver.
Did. Or he lives there now. Jarl Pettigo. Mm-hmm. You guys know him?
No, we got to meet this guy if he's a friend of yours.
Yeah, you need to meet, man. I went to a regional burn in Tennessee and met him in person. We knew each other before that. I think we had him on a podcast, didn't we, Kelly?
Yep, definitely.
For sure. It was a while ago, though,
Yeah, it was a while ago. Things have changed. And
Jarl, listen, get in touch with us, homie.
Yeah, hit these guys up, Jarl. Hit them up on tag them. Kelly will tag them on the Facebook thing, and so you know where they are, if you don't already. Well, if you got limited time, man, I want to hear about golf, dude. I was stoked about the movie, but I want to know what's going on with your golf game nowadays, because
my swing looks good. That's what's going on, Wes.
How long have you been playing golf, dude?
Since high school, my brother. So over 20 years.
Jeez, man, that's awesome, dude.
Years. I mean, even went out with my, I guess my parents started taking me when I was as early as 10 years old, I guess,
What do you like? What draws you to that game, man? What draws you to that game? I don't know anybody else that plays golf as much as you.
Really, I've got a whole group of, I play out here with Jay Double, who is another, I don't know if you know who he is or not. He's another
Yeah.
great beat producer here. Me and him come in, sometimes we can play upwards of 2 to 3 times a week.
I know it's like, dude, when I was there, I think you played every day, dude. You were like, oh, in fact, I think I was sick in your bathroom while you were out playing golf, dude. You're like, I got a tea time, brother. I'm sorry you got altitude sickness, but here's some water. Here's a couple pills. Like, catch you later, dude. Nothing I can do for you right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I love the sport, man. I like get out there, and I like the competitiveness of it, and I like challenging myself. So, and you can go out one day and shoot in the 70s. I can go out the next day and shoot in the 90s. So it's like,
how do you rate? So there's a spread in your results there, but how do you? I mean, you got to be like, what do you consider yourself? I mean, like, what's the levels of golfers before you're pro, dude? Like you played so much, dude.
Consistency. Some I'll never have. Those boys are hitting the ball so far west, man. You're like, there's no way.
What's an example? Like, how far do you hit a ball? Like,
brother, those young guns are hitting the ball incredibly far. When you watch those guys on TV, it's unbelievable.
How many yards? Is it like in yards? What is it?
What do you mean?
300 yards? Like, how far do they hit a ball? What's it?
Yeah, they're hitting it over simply down the middle. If you can play consistently, you get paid. That's how it works. If you can be consistent, and that's about with any profession, right? You can be good and consistent in anything, you get paid for it. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, no, it's no doubt, man. It's like a lot of things. It's like session musicians, all that kind of stuff, dude.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, that's about what's going on, my man.
What are you cooking for dinner then?
You know what? I have to go out here and find out. My wife went to the grocery store and has been waiting for me to walk out of the studio.
She's like, dude.
Yeah, but I know I'm the cook.
She's like, as if he didn't spend enough time in there already, and now he's coming up with some online talk bullshit.
I think we're firing up the grill. I hope we're firing up the grill. I like firing up the grill, and it's, I live on the roof of this building, so we have a beautiful view of the Rocky Mountains and the whole thing. So I like being outside with the grill rolling.
Sweet, dude. I love grilling, man.
Yeah.
I totally got to get back out there, and we gotta make up a reason to have a party and get down out there, dude.
Oh, I can make up a real reason to make up a party real quick.
Yeah. I think we can get some heads out, man. We don't want to play, we don't want to do half-ass and play no empty rooms.
No, I've been doing this shit long enough in this town, man.
Yeah. Yeah. We can.
No doubt about it.
We can get it to happen. All right, dudes. Yes. Well, totally cool, man. We can. We can always chat again in the future. You got. Sometimes it's good you let us know, because sometimes like not the last one, but what's the longest episode we ever had? 3 hours, Kelly?
It's like 19 hours.
Kelly loves it. Kelly loves it when guests like you are here, because she's like, dude,
we're gonna need a couple bottles and a couple 12 packs of beer if we're gonna hang out like that next
time. Yeah. Well, it's 9:30 now, so I'm like, oh, bedtime. Don't tell anyone that though.
Well, now at least 4 people know.
Right.
Wait a minute, 4 plus us, so that's 8. We're just getting to where we have more people viewing than people participating, so it's awesome.
Very good. Very nice.
Yeah, man. So I don't know if that inspires you or not, Mr. Freeman, but podcasting is tough too, dude. We're on episode 57.
I actually produce a podcast show too, so out of Colorado. It's called the Adam Dunn Show.
The Adam Dunn Show. Sweet.
Yeah. He's this guy that moved here from Amsterdam. He owns TH Seeds, and he does like this cannabis culture kind of show where he brings in special guests that are heavy into that scene and everything. So I make sure everything looks nice and the cameras are nice and all that.
Yeah. You can send us some tips. We evolve. Like every episode, we're getting better at it.
Yeah, this is a totally different type of thing, though. At his show, it's just we got 4 microphones sitting on a table and guests live there, and lights, double cameras.
Well, half the time that's how this is. Half the time they're in the studio here with me, and then Yeah, and then sometimes like with you guys, if you're not in town or whatever, we want to do it, we'll do remote like this. So this works pretty well for 2 or 3 cameras.
Totally.
Not much beyond that. And I actually really I do like to have the people here. Kelly will tell you, yeah, and it's a different dynamic too, because we're all staring at a computer or something, sort of a little image of each other versus being in person. So that's cool. But we'll do it if we ever get you ever get the screening thing sorted out or come anywhere close to Southern California. We'll get together and do it in person again, and then
Sounds sick to me, man.
and get a couple beers or something like that we don't have with us today. And maybe we'll get your homie that you do the podcast for. Maybe we'll get that guy come on. Maybe we'll maybe when I come to Colorado, we'll do one live over there.
There we go. There we go.
Good plan.
I would love to break down from someone super knowledgable about the inner workings of the cannabis business in Colorado. Man, I would love to hear all about that from somebody.
I'm pretty familiar with it at this point with all that interaction that I do with just producing stuff. But man, this guy, Adam Dunn, you check him out. He's definitely one of the most knowledgeable guys in the world on it. So
cool.
Yeah.
Adam Dunn, check him out. His podcast, Weed. Recreational, medicinal. Go for it, folks. Pens. Rob's getting antsy. We're going to wrap it up, dude, but anything else?
You want to see all these kids?
Any parting thoughts, words, visualizations you want to give out to
You know what? If you find the L.E.F. SoundCloud, I think we're actually going to put a free track up there, Wes.
Cool.
So keep an eye out on the SoundCloud. I think in the next day or two, we'll put that track up. And there'll be a free download
Get up there.
just for all the SoundCloud listeners. So
That's
fair
right.
enough, man. Come find us on SoundCloud, L.E.F., Low in Frequency, and we'll definitely. And I think we're going to start maybe putting up a few free downloads, just kind of like some of the songs we've used that do have samples and things like that in it. You know, that try to put a full licensing on or anything like that.
Sure.
Just kind of keep an eye on it and see what's going on.
Right.
And outside of that, keep an eye out for this album we've been working on, man. We've been putting in tireless.
Totally, dude. We'll promote it when it comes out. We'll promote it when you get ready to put it out. And when you do, make sure we know a little ahead of time or even after it comes out, whatever. We'll run it on the show at the beginning on an episode just so people can, if you do a little, promo clip or whatever you do, we'll help promote it. Cool, man. All right, then I'm just going to check out your Instagram for whatever you cook tonight. And
you know what? Get on it, man. I'll definitely put a little food pick up for you. I'm okay with that.
Kelly, any parting thoughts, Kelly?
Stay classy, yo.
Thanks for anybody tuning in. Hey, stay classy, yo. We're getting out of here.
We love the Variety Show, and we appreciate you both, Wes and Kelly. Thank you.
Thank you for having us on.
Yeah, man. Really appreciate you both a lot.
Whoop. Peace out.